Hello and welcome back to Debt-Free Life. My name is Sarah if you are new here, and today we are going to be reconciling my budget or closing out my budget, however you want to call it, for the pay period of June 2nd to June 15th. I budget for my whole family, which is myself, my husband, and our 4-year-old daughter. We live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, so you will see some things, obviously, finance, like savings accounts and stuff like that, retirement plans. Those kinds of things are different in Canada than the US. So if you're in the US, some of these won't be applicable to you, but you can still enjoy the video. Also, we are a 2-income family and we do get paid bi-weekly, which is why I do the bi-weekly budgeting, which is why this budget is just for the first half of June. I have filmed this video twice already, and both times I had issues with my camera. So I am not writing out the whole paper again to do it one piece at a time with you. I'm just going to reveal the categories as we go, which is why I have this covered up with paper. I just don't have time to film it a third time, and I want to make sure I get this video out soon because we're already, the 18th today, so I need to reconcile this budget. I would much rather be doing this on the Friday that the next pay period starts. I should have done this budget on the 16th, or closing out this budget, but it didn't happen. Things did not go exactly as planned this month. We will see. We did not go into the red, so we didn't completely bust the budget, but there were a lot of categories that were way over what I budgeted. Some of those things were within my control. Some of them were not within my control. We also had a fun surprise of some money that we were not expecting, which kind of saved the day at the end. So that's what we're in for. I will also say, if you haven't watched the video where I put this budget together, which is I think it's called How I'm Budgeting $2,900 for June. It's the first video on my channel. It's the first video I ever filmed and uploaded. Go check that out. I will have it linked down below, or the little box up above on the screen if you're watching, on your phone or the computer. And that way you will know what all of the different categories are. I will kind of briefly talk about them, but a few things to note. I do stay a month ahead on my bills. So you will see in this first category of income, I do have what I call a float. This is basically money that I have put away for my bills for the next month. So the money that we're using in June came from paychecks in May. So that's why this category is here, in case you are wondering. That money just sits in my checking account until we need it. We do get 2 paychecks. Like I said, we are a 2-income family. The first paycheck, I was expecting $1,530. It was higher. The reason this was higher is just because $1,530 is the smallest that paycheck ever is. It is a variable paycheck in that there are certain things that come out of it that don't come out every single payday. So things like union dues and retirement savings and stuff like that, they don't always come out the same way. And then also the employer has a deal on getting a bus pass, and sometimes we buy a bus pass that comes directly off the paycheck. So it comes out before we get paid. So again, that's why this number is higher. Sometimes it'll be only a little bit higher. Sometimes it's way higher. This month, it just so happened that, or this pay period, I should say, it just so happened that number was quite a bit more, $1,655 instead of $1,530. So that was quite good. Unfortunately, because of all the overspending and the unexpected things that happened this month, that got quickly eaten up, that extra. Paycheck number 2 is always what we expected. $1,120 is what it was. And then the float is $255. That I knew what it was going to be, and that's how much it was. So that gave us a total of $3,030 of income this pay period to work with. So going on to fixed expenses, childcare, this was one that was way bigger than I expected. There was an error. One of my childcare centers, my daughter is in 2 different ones. She goes to preschool in the morning and a daycare center in the afternoon. One of them had been undercharging us accidentally. And so we had this really big charge, and I'm kind of annoyed about it, but there was not really anything we could do about it. We just had to pay it. So that was way over what we expected. TFSA stands for tax-free savings account. This is an automatic withdrawal that I have set up just so I know I'm saving at least $25 a pay period. It just goes in automatically. And then RRSP is registered retirement savings plan. I think that's what the acronym is. This is retirement savings that people in Canada can put money into these accounts. And we have one for me and one for my husband. We also have other retirement savings though, like through our pensions, and that's done through our employers. And we both have really good pensions with our employers, so we don't worry too much about our RSPs, but we try to put in $100 per pay period, and we alternate. So like one pay period it'll go into mine, and then the next pay period it'll go into my husband's. So that came out like normal. Our insurance, I had written down 75. Technically it's always 73. Like that number's not variable. I just wrote it down as 75. I rounded it differently than I probably should have. And then same with cable. I had rounded down on the cable, but the cable is actually 182. Cable and internet, I should explain that. It's mostly internet. The cable is a very small portion. In fact, every time we call to try and cancel the cable, they basically discount it to the point where like we would still be paying almost that much. Like we're getting cable for like $20 a month or something like that. And I like having cable. I don't mind paying that money. Like I don't know if I said at the beginning, but we don't have any debt other than our house. We have 2 incomes. We are able to do a lot of things with our money. And so I'm not too angry about having a very high cable and internet bill. I mean, is that high where you live? I'm not really sure what other people pay for those kinds of things. This brought our total up quite a bit, obviously, because of that childcare. So we had $735 in fixed expenses. I should also note that the reason these two payments or these two expenses have stars next to them is that those were saved in the float. And so if you add 75, I'll show you here. 75, whoops, I need this to be on. 75 plus 180, those were my 2 bills. 255 is what came out of the float. So literally the float line is just there to cancel these out. I could just leave them off because I know that they're paid for and accounted for, but then I'm not like tracking it. And so that's why I keep it on there. That brings us to our future fixed expenses. And the only fixed expense that I saved for in this pay period was our mortgage for July 1st. So you can see like for the pay that's coming in on June 2nd, we're already putting the money into the float for our July mortgage, and that's $1,320. That's our mortgage and our property taxes all wrapped up into one. We bought our house in 2019, I think it was, before the pandemic, and we have very good credit when we bought it, and so we got a pretty good deal on our mortgage, is my understanding. It's the first house we've ever owned, so what I do know is that like our expenses are less owning our home. If you take out home maintenance, which is a whole nother thing, but then what we would be paying if we were renting in the same area that we are in. So I'm pretty happy with that. My house, sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. It is over 100 years old, so things go wrong, and so the maintenance costs can add up. I didn't really subtract these numbers because obviously like it's already written out here, but we take to do a zero-based budget, which is what I am doing here. I take the money that we had in income, so that was $3,030. I subtract the $735. I can do this just to show you. Subtract the $735 for our fixed expenses. That gave us this $2,295. And then we subtract the, what did I do? I don't know. Let's see if that works. 1320. No, I accidentally deleted it. 2295 minus 1320 is going to give us 975 moving forward, which is less than what we had anticipated. Our variable expenses stay the same every month. So we start with groceries at $400. This number, we busted this budget for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 was my own fault. We decided to go to the beach near us. It's not an ocean beach. We live in the middle of the continent. If you look at a map, Winnipeg is, we're pretty close to the geographical center of the continent. And we go to the beach at the lake. But we decided to do that on a whim. My daughter really wanted to go, and so we had to buy some snacks and things to take. It takes about an hour to drive there, and we had a picnic lunch while we were out there. So that was some extra money. And then we had a mistake that was made by Walmart and the delivery driver. So we get our groceries delivered because we don't own a vehicle. You'll notice there's no vehicle expenses on here. We don't own a vehicle. We don't drive, and we use Walmart grocery delivery for most of our groceries. And then for other things, we use like Amazon and Instacart for other deliveries when we can't just take a bus and go get something. The second grocery order for the month, I usually do, or not for the month, for the pay period. I keep getting mixed up with that. The second one that we did, so we usually do one a week, all of our cold groceries did not arrive on our doorstep. So all of the like milk and cheese and all of the dairy products and eggs and all of our meat and our produce, like frozen items, anything that needed to be kept cold was just missing. And it was like half the order. And the order was like a $200 order because I split this between 2 weeks. And I was so furious, and I hate the app for Walmart. It doesn't really let you talk to a person. So I put in a refund request. We didn't get the money refunded yet. It's the 18th and we still haven't been refunded the money. I'm going to have to track down a customer service number and call because they still haven't refunded us. So that was a huge expense because I still needed those groceries. I had to go and spend that money, and I was very lucky to be able to get a ride to go and do that, where I didn't have to pay the delivery fee again, because I honestly don't trust Walmart delivery anymore. I don't know if we're going to be using it. We might just switch to using Instacart, where you can actually like talk to your driver and stuff, but that was that one. Thankfully, our miscellaneous category was a lot lower. We only spent $28. That was some bus tickets. Again, we don't have a vehicle, and we chose not to do the bus pass this month because we really weren't expecting to need to go very many places by bus. We can really get around a lot by walking, and so that was just a very small expense there. Eating out, we had budgeted $50, which we always do. We busted this. This was 2 meals eating out. The first one was coming home from the beach. We stopped and got like a sit-down meal for dinner that day, and that was quite expensive. I think we spent over $80 on that alone, so we had already busted the budget. And then I made the decision to order a pizza on the day of my daughter's birthday party, which was another thing that we had going on in this 2-week period, but that's not showing up here. That didn't cause any of these numbers to go over because we had a sinking fund for my daughter's birthday, and we spent money out of that sinking fund. So it was we had $600 in the sinking fund, and I think we ended up only spending about $400. Anyhow, but we did end up ordering a pizza after the party because I was just exhausted, and I didn't plan well. I should have made a plan so that we could have, had something in the freezer that we could have made really quickly, but everyone was just exhausted after the birthday party. And even though we'd been eating like cake and snacks and things, I was starving. And so I just made the decision to order a pizza, and it was probably a bad decision because it spent that was another, $20, $30 that I probably could have saved. Our fun budget, also, we busted because going to the beach was unplanned, and we discovered when we were getting ready to go the night before that we needed a new camp chair. My husband's camp chair had gotten broken, I guess, at the end of last season. This was our first trip to the beach this year, and so we needed a new chair for him, and then we also got a chair for my daughter, and we needed a new cooler because I think I might have loaned my cooler to someone in my family and they didn't give it back because I could not find it. And so I don't think I would have gotten rid of it because we use it every summer. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but I had to buy another cooler because we needed it for the next day. And then we also paid for some of the gas because we went with my parents. Like I said, we don't have a car, so we drove with them, and so we paid some of the gas money so that we could all go to the beach together. That gave us a total of $923, and as you can see, we only had $975, so we did not end up with the $410 we were expecting for our sinking funds. We ended up with a grand total of $52, which is not actually very much at all. I'm just going to take this Post-it note here and cover up, because for this next section, I don't want you to see that. Okay, so we had budgeted $385 for Disney and $25 for Christmas, and the reason for that was that $385 is our minimum for getting our Disney trip paid for. We need $15,000 saved before we go on our Disney trip in 2024, in October of 2024. I calculated how many pay periods there were and how much money we needed, and it's $385 per pay period that we have to save if we want to cover just our basic costs, which includes like our flights, our resorts, our food, our tickets to the Halloween party, which the whole reason we're going in October is because of the Halloween party, and some money for the little extras that you need, souvenirs and things like that. So that left me with $25 originally for Christmas. Now you're going to see here that even though this number is 52 and we only had $52 left over, that I still have $385 written down and $50 written down for Christmas. And that's because we got some unexpected money. So my husband got a check for $775 from the government. This was a tax rebate kind of situation for in my province. They're giving money back to people who paid school taxes. And so that was the money that we got back. And then I also found a check that had been in some mail from a few months ago. Actually, a few months ago, I had emergency surgery and I was out of commission for a couple of weeks. And during that time, some of our mail didn't get opened, or my mail, I should say, mail that was addressed to me did not get opened. And so I discovered that I still had a check for $250 that had been sent. I think this was a cost of living kind of rebate check situation that was given also by the province that we live in, Manitoba. So that gave us an extra $1,025. So I decided out of that $1,025, oh, plus the 52, so we had $1,077. I decided we would fund the $385 sinking fund that we know we needed, give $50 to Christmas because Christmas is important. We still want to make sure that that is fully funded by the time we need it. But then I've got this number 642 and I've written down savings challenges. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube, a lot of creators who are doing content like this where they're talking about money. And I found this whole category of videos where people do these savings games or savings challenges where they have like different pages and they're filling out, coloring different things and rolling dice and doing all kinds of fun stuff. And I want to get in on that action. And since this money was what I call mad money, so it was money that we were not expecting, it is not allocated, we don't have any debt that we need to put it towards, and our big goal right now is our Disney trip. So it makes sense to put it towards that Disney trip. So the remainder after I do those two funding things, 642, is going to go towards our Disney fund, some extra things that we wouldn't necessarily be able to do just with the $15,000. And I'm going to do a whole video. Probably I'm going to film it today. It is Sunday when I'm filming this, the 18th. So I'm going to do like a Sunday savings challenges video. And I think that's going to be really fun. I'm not going to do it with actual physical cash. I don't go to the bank and get cash out. I mentioned that in one of my other videos. It just doesn't make sense for me, given that I don't have a vehicle. I have to take the bus. If I have to have large amounts of money on me, it just doesn't feel safe. Not that like the area that we live in is particularly dangerous or anything like that, but like I don't want to be carrying large amounts of money on the bus, or even just like walking. Like there is a bank within walking distance, but I don't want to be doing that. And then I also don't want to have large amounts of money in my house when I can put it in my high yield savings account and get money for putting it there. I make interest. Like last month, I think I got $8 or $9 interest on my savings account, and that's more money that I can put towards Disney. So I'm going to use prop money for that video. So hopefully people won't mind that so much, but I think it'll be really fun. That's going to be the next video that you're going to be seeing on this channel. And yeah, I think that's everything. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I really look forward to releasing, at least one video a week for the foreseeable future. I'm really having fun with this. And I really like seeing the comments, people, asking questions and engaging. And I also would love to hear from you what kind of videos you'd like to see, where you are on your money journey, all of that kind of great stuff. I will have videos linked down below that I mentioned already, and thank you for spending time with me, and we'll see you in the next one.